Hi, my name is Bob Loomis. I'm here today to talk to you about the new Legacy fishing rods. A little bit about a fishing rod. There's a little bit more that goes into a good fishing rod, or what I would call a tool or a weapon for any type of fishery that we actually go out and try to catch more fish than the next guy. When you get down to the ins and outs of building a good rod, there's a lot of different aspects that go into it. The difference between a good rod and a bad rod can be the difference of cashing a check at a bass tournament or a walleye tournament, a kingfish tournament. Just depends on what you're doing. And a lot of it has to do with the tool or the weapon that you're fishing with. There's a number of different jobs that a fishing rod actually has to do in order to be considered a good rod. A rod has to cast a line and lure properly. It has to move the lure properly. It has to hook and play a fish properly. And it has to come home in the same amount of pieces that it left in. Those are pretty much the basics of what a fishing rod has to do. Now, when you get down to creating a good fishing tool, then you start talking about, well, how light is that rod? How strong is that rod? How sensitive is that rod? Well, that's what comes from, the experience of the manufacturer. What are you trying to create? There's a number of different things, key components that go into building a good blank, which is the base with which we're building a good fishing rod or our tool or our weapon. You have to have your tooling. The tooling itself is what the part is molded around. It's a molding process. So you have to have the correct tooling. You have to have the correct material that goes into that tooling or onto the tooling itself. You have to have the correct design to utilize the tooling and the material. And you also have to have the machinery in order to put all of those things together. On top of it, you have to have the knowledge of how to create this whole tool or weapon. Putting all that stuff together, you can create an extremely good fishing tool or what we call a fishing rod. But if you don't have that base or those key components, tooling, design, machinery, knowledge, material, and put it all together properly, you're never going to have a good base to build a product on. You build a bad blank, you're never going to build a good rod. Doesn't matter what you put on it as far as componentry. You can put the best components in the world on it, and you will never build a good fishing rod. These new rods that we just created here for Legacy is an extremely, extremely good fishing tool. It's something that we have put the correct componentry on, a great blank. It's extremely light, extremely sensitive, extremely strong, have got the correct components in the right areas in order to create a very, very good weapon. We kind of talked a little bit about the aspects of what goes into building a good base or a tool or blank, and what goes into building a good rod. I really feel that one of the biggest issues in this industry right now, and has been for a long time, is the fact that a lot of manufacturers, they either A, don't fish, have fishing knowledge and understand what they're actually putting together. They go out and copy something, or they go out and have somebody else build them something that they ask them to build. There isn't a magic rod that does everything. I can't build a rod that I can go out and go throw a 1/4 ounce jig and catch some 1.5 pound or 2 pound crappie or smaller fish and then go out and go salmon fishing with. It doesn't exist. There is a specific rod to do a specific job for everything that's out there. I mean, there's a rod that's specifically made to do the job of throwing that 1/4 ounce jig for those large crappie. There is a specific rod to throw a 1/2 ounce spinnerbait. There is a specific rod to go drop shotting with, throwing swim baits, doing all of these different jobs. Well, the one thing that Legacy brings to the table is they bring knowledge. I've got over 30 years knowledge in this industry and have spent a lot of time fishing, understanding what the correct tool to do the correct job is in putting this all together. And that's what we've done here at Legacy today, is put together some extremely good fishing weapons. The new Legacy rods that I've put together, with specific things in mind, creating the correct actions. We put a non-glare, really beautiful platinum looking finish on the outside of them. That way it looks good. It's not just a graphite gray product. It's a good looking finish, but it's a non-glare finish. It's not going to spook the fish. We've gone through and put red wraps on that gray platinum looking finish. Looks outstanding. We've gone through and put the guides that we've got are a snap-in ring, where you don't have issues of rings popping out of a very high-end rod. You have to send a rod back because the ring of your guide came out. That doesn't make any sense. These are all snap-in rings. Extremely good, lightweight, nice guides. Reel seats. The reel seats that we've put on are all basically put together with short handles, split grips, making the thing an extremely lightweight, extremely sensitive fishing tool. You gotta grab a casting rod. All the casting rods that we put together have blank through reel seats. I can feel things, touch things. On our spinning rods, the spinning rod is built with no foregrip on it. A foregrip doesn't make any sense unless I have to be pulling on something heavy. When you get up into a 25-pound, 30-pound plus stick, where I have to grab on the foregrip in order to pull on a fish, that's one thing. When we're talking about fishing, what we're fishing for, you know, these different bass rods, the different walleye rods, the different steelhead salmon rods, we're not grabbing up on that foregrip and pulling on it. That isn't what the rod's designed to do. I'm basically grabbing onto this product. I want my finger on that blank. I want to be able to feel. I want as much sensitivity as I can get so that I can feel that fish when he inhales and spits that bait back in. Where most people wouldn't even know that they got bit, I want to be able to feel that when he inhales that bait. The new Legacy rods that we've put together have been put together with all of the correct components and key items that go into a fishing rod. The new Legacy rods that we've put together are that new weapon. All the right designs, tooling, componentry, knowledge, designs, all of the things that have gone into it would put this rod into an extremely high price category. It's not that high priced. It's a very, very good fishing rod for the price.